The 2025 research on sex after 65 brings new depth and scale to what we know about aging and intimacy. What scientists discovered about sexual satisfaction in older adults will change how you prepare for your later years. The new longitudinal studies tracked participants for over 15 years and found that certain factors predict not just better sex, but successful aging overall. These findings build on earlier research, but reveal patterns that surprised even the researchers themselves. 1 in 3 Americans over 55 have sex at least once a week, with seniors in their 70s actually reporting higher activity rates than those in their 60s. Even more striking, 1 in 6 seniors say their sexual experiences are better now than when they were younger. Later, we'll reveal why adaptability matters more than physical health or relationship length in predicting satisfaction. The study behind these discoveries represents the most comprehensive look at sexual wellness and aging ever conducted. The 2025 study that changed everything. Researchers from the German Aging Survey and the English longitudinal study on aging began tracking sexual wellness in older adults with a simple goal: to understand how intimacy changes over time for people entering their later years. What they discovered challenged fundamental assumptions about sex after 65. This landmark multi-country study followed over 8,000 adults for more than a decade, using novel tools to measure not just activity, but emotional and relational aspects of intimacy. Previous studies on sexual satisfaction in older adults typically followed people for just a few years or relied on single snapshots in time. This new research took a completely different approach. The team collected detailed information at regular intervals, creating a rich database that shows how sexual satisfaction actually evolves as people age. Instead of making assumptions based on limited data, researchers could see patterns emerge over years of observation. The methodology was rigorous. Each assessment included comprehensive health evaluations, detailed relationship quality measures, and extensive intimacy questionnaires that went far beyond simple yes or no questions about sexual activity. The researchers divided participants into distinct groups based on life stage rather than just chronological age. The pre-retirement group included adults aged 55 to 64, people who were still working but beginning to think about their later years. The early retirement group captured adults aged 65 to 74, many of whom were adjusting to retirement and changing life circumstances. The later years group included participants over 75, adults who had been navigating aging for some time. This division allowed researchers to see how sexual satisfaction changes not just with age, but with the major life transitions that come with getting older. What made this study groundbreaking wasn't just its size or duration. It was the new measurement tools researchers developed. Previous research often treated sexual satisfaction as a simple rating scale. This study created multidimensional assessments that measured physical satisfaction, emotional intimacy, relationship connection, and personal fulfillment separately. They tracked how these different aspects of sexual wellness changed independently and how they influenced each other over time. The questionnaires also captured information about sexual communication, adaptation to physical changes, and how participants defined sexual satisfaction for themselves. Each wave of data collection was comprehensive in ways that previous studies never attempted. Participants underwent detailed health screenings that measured everything from cardiovascular function to hormone levels to cognitive assessment. The relationship quality measures looked at communication patterns, conflict resolution, shared activities, and emotional support. The intimacy questionnaires explored not just frequency of sexual activity, but satisfaction with different types of physical and emotional intimacy. Researchers also collected information about social connections, mental health, life satisfaction, and how participants viewed aging itself. The results started surprising researchers from the very first analysis. When they compared sexual satisfaction across age groups, they found patterns that contradicted decades of assumptions about aging and sexuality. The data showed that sexual satisfaction didn't follow the steady decline that most experts expected. Instead, satisfaction levels varied dramatically within each age group, and some of the highest satisfaction scores came from participants in their 70s and 80s. This finding alone challenged the widespread belief that sexual wellness inevitably decreases with age. Even more surprising was what predicted sexual satisfaction across all age groups. Researchers expected physical health to be the primary factor. And while health certainly mattered, it wasn't the strongest predictor. They thought relationship length might be key. Couples together for decades should have developed better sexual communication and intimacy. But the data revealed more complex patterns than anyone anticipated. The research team ran multiple statistical analyses to identify what actually predicted sexual satisfaction in their participants. They controlled for health status, relationship factors, socioeconomic variables, and demographic characteristics. They looked at how different factors interacted with each other and how their influence changed over time. The statistical models became increasingly complex as researchers tried to understand the surprising patterns emerging from their data. The German study specifically found that rural living, BMI, and emotional connection were stronger predictors than income levels, challenging assumptions about socioeconomic factors. What emerged as the most powerful predictor of sexual satisfaction caught everyone off guard. It wasn't physical health, though that mattered. It wasn't relationship quality, though that played a role. It wasn't mental health, social connections, or financial security, though all of these factors contributed to sexual wellness. The strongest predictor was something researchers had barely measured in previous studies, something that most people don't think about when considering sexual satisfaction in later life. The implications of these findings extend far beyond academic research. The factors that predict sexual satisfaction after 65 are largely within our control, regardless of our current age or circumstances. The study revealed that people who develop certain skills and attitudes throughout their lives maintain higher sexual satisfaction as they age. These aren't complex interventions that require medical expertise or expensive treatments. They're approaches to life and relationships that anyone can start developing today. The research also showed that sexual satisfaction in later life affects far more than just intimate relationships. Participants with higher sexual satisfaction scores had better overall health outcomes, stronger social connections, and higher life satisfaction. They were more resilient in the face of age-related challenges and adapted better to major life changes. Sexual wellness emerged as both a predictor and outcome of successful aging, creating positive cycles that enhanced overall well-being. Perhaps most importantly, the study revealed that sexual satisfaction after 65 is not predetermined by genetics, early life experiences, or unchangeable circumstances. The factors that matter most can be influenced through conscious choices and deliberate practice. This finding has profound implications for how we prepare for our later years and how we support older adults in maintaining sexual wellness. The research data continues to yield new insights as scientists analyze the relationships between different variables. The patterns they've identified are reshaping how medical professionals approach sexual health in older adults and how relationship experts think about intimacy across the lifespan. But before we explore what drives satisfaction, we need to examine what the actual numbers reveal about sexual activity in this age group. What the numbers actually show about sex after 65. The updated 2025 data reveals numbers that completely contradict what most people believe about sex after 65. When researchers analyzed the latest statistics from studies like the Healthy Aging Poll, they found that about half of people aged 65 to 70 remained sexually active, with 76% saying sex was important to their quality of life. This figure represents a significant shift from previous estimates and reveals a fundamental change in how older adults approach sexuality and how researchers measure sexual activity. Breaking down the numbers by specific age groups shows even more surprising patterns. The 65 to 74 age group maintains the highest levels of sexual activity among seniors, but the decline isn't as steep as researchers expected. Among adults aged 75 to 84, sexual activity rates drop, but still remain substantial. The Lancet data shows that 31% of men and 14% of women at 80 and older remain active. Even these numbers challenge the widespread assumption that sexual activity essentially ends in the mid-70s. The variation within age groups tells an equally important story. Sexual activity rates among 70-year-olds range from 0 to multiple times per week, with the majority falling somewhere in the middle. This wide variation suggests that chronological age alone doesn't determine sexual activity levels. Some 75-year-olds report more frequent sexual activity than some 65-year-olds. The data shows that individual factors matter far more than age brackets when predicting who remains sexually active. One of the most significant findings from the 2025 research involves the relationship between sexual interest and activity. The data reveals that interest in sex remains high even as frequency decreases with age. Adults who report sexual activity once or twice per month often maintain strong interest levels, suggesting that desire doesn't necessarily decline at the same rate as activity. This finding highlights the importance of distinguishing between interest, activity, and satisfaction when studying sexual wellness after 65. The expanded definition of sexual activity in recent research helps explain some of these surprising numbers. Researchers now include kissing, cuddling, massage, oral sex, and mutual masturbation alongside traditional intercourse when measuring sexual activity. This broader definition captures the reality of how many older adults experience intimacy. About 60% of sexually active seniors engage in activities beyond intercourse, with many reporting that these alternative forms of intimacy provide greater satisfaction than they experienced when younger. Physical limitations that come with aging often require couples to expand their sexual repertoire. The 2025 data shows that couples who adapt their sexual practices to accommodate physical changes maintain higher activity levels than those who stick to previous patterns. Adults who embrace this broader definition of sexual activity report satisfaction levels that remain stable or even improve with age. This adaptability appears to be a key factor in maintaining sexual wellness throughout the later decades. The gender differences revealed in the 2025 data highlight important disparities in sexual activity rates among seniors. Among adults aged 65 to 74, men report being sexually active at higher rates than women. This gap widens in older age groups, with significantly more men aged 75 to 84 reporting sexual activity compared to women in the same age range. These differences reflect multiple factors, including hormonal changes, health status, and social circumstances. Several factors drive these gender differences in sexual activity rates. Women face unique challenges after menopause, including hormonal changes that can affect sexual desire and comfort. The research shows that women who receive appropriate medical support for these changes maintain sexual activity at rates much closer to men. Social factors also play a role. Women are more likely to be widowed and less likely to find new partners later in life. However, the 2025 data shows that single women who remain sexually active through masturbation or other solo activities report satisfaction levels similar to partnered women. Comparing these 2025 numbers to data from previous decades reveals dramatic changes in senior sexuality. In the 1990s and early 2000s, fewer than 40% of adults over 65 reported any sexual activity. The increase to current levels represents more than just better research methods. Societal attitudes about aging and sexuality have shifted significantly. The generation now entering their senior years grew up during the sexual revolution of the 1960s and maintains more open attitudes about sexuality throughout their lives. Medical advances also contribute to higher sexual activity rates among current seniors. Better treatments for cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and other conditions that affect sexual function allow more older adults to remain sexually active. Improvements in hormone replacement therapy, erectile dysfunction treatments, and other medical interventions provide options that weren't available to previous generations of seniors. The 2025 data shows that adults who actively manage age-related health changes maintain sexual activity at rates significantly higher than those who don't seek medical support. The research reveals that cultural changes around discussions of sexuality also impact these numbers. Current seniors are more likely to discuss sexual concerns with healthcare providers and partners than previous generations. This openness leads to better outcomes because problems get addressed rather than ignored. The data shows that adults who communicate about sexual changes and challenges maintain higher satisfaction levels regardless of their activity frequency. Perhaps the most important finding from the 2025 data concerns the relationship between expectations and satisfaction. Adults who expect sexual activity to decline dramatically with age often experience exactly that decline. Those who maintain more positive expectations about sexual aging tend to remain active longer and report higher satisfaction levels. This suggests that attitudes about aging and sexuality significantly influence actual outcomes. The research also reveals differences in how older adults define sexual satisfaction compared to younger people. Many seniors place greater emphasis on emotional connection, physical comfort, and relationship intimacy than on physical performance or frequency. This shift in priorities helps explain why some older adults report higher sexual satisfaction than they experienced when younger, even with less frequent activity. Understanding these patterns becomes crucial for anyone preparing for their later years. The 2025 data suggests that multiple factors beyond simple aging influence sexual wellness after 65. The adults who maintain the highest activity levels and satisfaction scores share specific characteristics that extend well beyond their intimate relationships and touch every aspect of their health and well-being. The health connection nobody talks about. These characteristics point to specific physical health factors that most people never connect to sexual satisfaction. While many adults focus on obvious concerns like hormone changes or erectile function, cardiovascular health emerges as the strongest physical predictor of sexual satisfaction in older adults. According to AMA data, 40% of adults aged 65 to 80 remain sexually active, and this activity correlates directly with improved heart health and intimacy outcomes. This connection makes perfect sense when you understand how sexual function actually works in the human body, but it's a relationship that gets overlooked in most discussions about aging and sexuality. Your cardiovascular system controls blood flow throughout your entire body, including the genital region. Sexual arousal requires increased blood flow to specific areas, and this process depends entirely on healthy blood vessels and a strong heart. When cardiovascular health declines, the body struggles to deliver adequate blood flow during sexual activity. This affects not just physical function, but also confidence and overall sexual satisfaction. The research shows that adults who maintain excellent cardiovascular health through their 60s and 70s report sexual satisfaction scores nearly equivalent to adults in their 50s. The connection between heart health and sexual function affects both men and women, though in different ways. For men, cardiovascular problems often manifest as erectile dysfunction because erections require significant blood flow to the penis. For women, poor circulation can reduce sensitivity and natural lubrication, making sexual activity less comfortable and enjoyable. What surprises many people is that sexual dysfunction often serves as an early warning sign of cardiovascular disease. Adults who experience sudden changes in sexual function should discuss these changes with their healthcare providers because they may indicate underlying heart health issues. Diabetes and hypertension represent two of the most common conditions that significantly impact sexual satisfaction after 65. Diabetes damages blood vessels throughout the body over time, reducing circulation to genital areas and affecting nerve function that's crucial for sexual response. The condition also increases the risk of infections that can make sexual activity uncomfortable. Adults with well-controlled diabetes maintain much higher sexual satisfaction scores than those whose blood sugar levels fluctuate wildly. The difference isn't subtle. Proper diabetes management can mean the difference between maintaining an active sex life and experiencing significant sexual dysfunction. Hypertension affects sexual function through multiple mechanisms. High blood pressure damages blood vessel walls, reducing their ability to expand and contract normally. Many medications used to treat hypertension also have sexual side effects, creating a complex situation where treating one health problem can create another. The research shows that adults who work with their healthcare providers to find blood pressure medications with minimal sexual side effects maintain significantly higher satisfaction levels than those who simply accept sexual dysfunction as an inevitable consequence of treatment. Regular exercise emerged as one of the most powerful interventions for maintaining sexual satisfaction as people age. The Lancet findings confirm that physical activity correlates with improved sexual health and overall well-being in older adults. Adults who maintain consistent exercise routines throughout their 60s and 70s report dramatically higher sexual satisfaction scores compared to sedentary peers. Exercise improves cardiovascular health, increases flexibility, enhances mood, and boosts energy levels. All factors that contribute to better sexual experiences. The type of exercise matters less than consistency. Adults who walk regularly, swim, do yoga, or engage in strength training all show similar benefits for sexual wellness. The relationship between exercise and sexual satisfaction goes beyond just physical fitness. Regular physical activity improves body image and self-confidence, factors that significantly impact how comfortable people feel during intimate moments. Exercise also reduces stress and anxiety, mental states that interfere with sexual arousal and satisfaction. Adults who exercise regularly report feeling more attractive and confident about their bodies, regardless of objective changes in appearance that come with aging. Medications present both challenges and opportunities for sexual wellness after 65. Many common medications prescribed to older adults have sexual side effects that can reduce satisfaction and activity levels. Antidepressants, blood pressure medications, antihistamines, and pain medications can all interfere with sexual function. However, newer treatments are changing outcomes for many adults. Swell study recommendations include appropriate use of lubrication products and PDE5 inhibitors for adults over 60, which can work effectively for many people well into their 80s when used appropriately under medical supervision. Sleep quality emerged as a major factor in sexual satisfaction that previous research had largely ignored. Poor sleep disrupts hormone production, particularly testosterone levels that affect sexual desire in both men and women. Sleep deprivation also increases stress hormones, reduces energy levels, and affects mood, all factors that interfere with sexual interest and satisfaction. Adults who prioritize sleep hygiene and address sleep disorders maintain higher sexual satisfaction scores than those who struggle with chronic sleep problems.